Today we'll be wrapping up the regular season here in year number 5 of the Denver Broncos franchise here on Madden 25. We're currently 9-3, looking to position ourselves for one more playoff run in the series before going to the long-term sim. So technically speaking, if we lose the next 5 games and miss out on the playoffs, there would only be one episode left. So hopefully it does not come to that. But we've got some really tough matchups today. All 5 teams left on the schedule, or I guess 4 since we play the Chargers twice, but all 4 teams left on the schedule are really good and are all fighting for playoff positioning. The team is currently 9-3, as I mentioned earlier. In the last episode, we had some interesting games, including a game-winning 2-point conversion against the Atlanta Falcons in a game where Lenoris Sellers, the 4th-round rookie, made his first career start and played really well for the Falcons. Him and Kyle Pitts really had great chemistry with each other. We took care of the Titans on Sunday night. We had one of our worst offensive performances ever against the Jaguars, losing 17-10, but we got our lick back, dominating the Indianapolis Colts 31-3. That gets us set for today, where we'll be going through 6 weeks. We start with the Chargers and we end with the Chargers, who have been a lot better this season than they were a year ago, and if they want to make a possible dent in the division race, they've got to win this first game on the road in Denver. Then we've got our bye week. We head to Las Vegas to play against the Raiders. The last time we were in Las Vegas, Jalen Daniels threw nearly 6 touchdowns. But in the 3 meetings since then in Denver, our defense has dominated every time. Then we've got a couple of primetime games. Sunday night against the Ravens, Monday night against the Bills, 2 of the best teams in the AFC, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then we wrap up on the road in LA against the Chargers. It'll be interesting to see if LA is still in the division race at that point. They'll have to beat us this week, though, for really any chance of that being the case. I really think this team is well positioned to go back-to-back. Obviously, we've got pretty much the same group as last year, but this team is so balanced. There's no weaknesses. The passing game has been strong with our newly extended Bo Nix, who statistically is having probably his best season so far. The run game's been really strong. Ashton Jeanty has been healthy the whole year, and he's been playing really well. Currently 3rd in the NFL in rushing. Through the air, Marvin Mims has been fully healthy, and it looks like we're finally going to get him over the 1,000-yard plateau that he's been so close to throughout this series. Not to mention at the trade deadline, we made a big addition. Chris Olave for a 2nd, a 4th, and Jack Sawyer. I think Olave gives this offense some more stability at wide receiver, given that both Ryan Williams and Chris Brazzell have missed time this year, and we're probably due for a Marvin Mims injury as well. The offensive line's been solid, and then the defense has been a lot more consistent than last year. We currently have the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. The pass rush has been up and down, but the run defense has been rock solid. The secondary's been rock solid, and Jeffrey Bossa has arguably been the best defensive player in the NFL. Last episode, we rewarded him with a 6-year extension for nearly $140 million. That's not to mention that the team is entirely healthy. We finally get a look at our new receiving corps. Chris Olave missed the last game against the Colts, and Ryan Williams has been out the last 4 weeks. On the offensive line, Andrew Thomas has played in 9 of our 12 games, but it also feels like he's barely been out there. He's only played 214 snaps. He hasn't played a full game since week 3. He's played 2 full games the entire year. Week 6, got injured immediately. Week 7, got injured immediately. Week 8, got injured on the first play. Comes back week 12, got hurt again. I got to give Tyler Johnson a lot of credit, though. The rookie from Auburn, he's done a great job. Despite only starting in a few games this year, he's been thrusted into the lineup without warning, and he's done a really good job. He has not allowed a sack since week 5 against the Raiders, and he's played basically the entire game over the last 2 months, not really allowing any sacks. Thomas will remain the starter, but Tyler Johnson's been a revelation for us. The defensive line's been banged up at times this year. Michael Williams has missed a handful of games, but now he returns and is healthy, which is a big deal for us because when he is on, he is unblockable. The problem is there's no consistency with his game. So let's look at this Chargers team, who has kind of found themselves towards the bottom of the AFC West over the last couple of years, with obviously the Chiefs being the Chiefs, us emerging as a power in this conference, and the Raiders getting a lot better. But the Chargers have found a way to combat that. Despite being in a loaded division, they're still 6-5. They're still very much in the playoff race. Currently, they have the same record as the number 7 seed. They have a top-scoring defense as well. Their offense doesn't necessarily put up the elite numbers, but is really solid. Now, they've lost a couple games in a row. They have not won since Week 9, a 31-7 blowout against the Saints. So you best believe they're looking to get back on track since they haven't won a game in 3 weeks. Of course, they're led by the quarterback, Justin Herbert. Now an established veteran at 30 in his 9th NFL season, Herbert is still one of the better signal callers in the NFL. They've got multiple different weapons out of the backfield with Dameon Pierce, R.J. Harvey, and the rookie Taylor Pinto. They don't really have an alpha receiver, but they've got a good group and some young guys to build around with the rookie Nitro Tuggle, T.J. Moore, and a couple other solid guys as well. The offensive line is pretty good. Obviously, they've got a great tackle tandem with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. Ty Chan, late first-rounder a couple years ago, has been a big hit. But the strength of this team is on their defense. I think their best defensive player is linebacker Junior Colson, one of the few linebackers across the NFL who has the impact of a guy like Jeffrey Bossa. He plays pretty much the exact same role for their defense. Coach, I overheard Marvin Mims wanted to come back early from his injury this week. Well, that's a little bit strange because Marvin Mims isn't hurt. Nobody on the team is hurt. What is the game talking about? Marvin Mims has been healthy this year, which is a rarity for him. He's missed 20 games over the last 3 years, but he's been finally healthy this year. So why is he talking about him being injured? Obviously, we're going to have him play because he's healthy. I'm not going to sit him for no reason. This is a big game within the division. We don't want the Chargers to get back on track, and we want him on the field, especially considering he's well enough to do so. Look at the right side, though. Chris Olave says he feels good. He wants to help the team win. Did we not just talk with Marvin Mims? I mean, at least if it was Olave, it would have made sense because he was injured last week against the Colts. But Marvin Mims has played the entire year. EA, what are we doing? All right, let's get this show on the road. Our second to last home game of the regular season. Hopefully we'll have some home games in the playoffs as we're set to face off against Jim Harbaugh and the 6-5 Los Angeles Chargers. Major playoff implications on the line, and the Chargers can really shake up the AFC West with a win. Good play there by Bryson Nesbitt to the 35 as he beats Bossa. The Chargers moving it slowly and efficiently. Now at the 3, 3rd and goal. Pierce loses 3. Jeffrey Bossa leads the way. Drew Sanders and Damon Clowney sending pressure to help as well, and I think that'll take the Chargers away from potentially going for it. They're going to have to kick the field goal. It is a chip shot, though, from around 23 yards out. Kick is up and good. LA on the board first. They lead 3-0 as we take our first look at the Broncos offense, who's had some good and some bad over the last handful of weeks. 2nd and 4 at the 46. It's a pitch to the outside. Genty loses 6. Wrapped up on the play by Greg Newsome, and that'll make it a 3rd and 10. Not every day you see a loss of that many yards. As Nix looks to throw it now on 3rd down. Under pressure, pocket collapses, and it's dropped by the defensive lineman. Trey Hendrickson nearly at a pick, but he could not hang on to it. Chargers get it back at the 20. Here is Herbert looking deep. He's got his man open. It's T.J. Moore, the youngster in his 2nd season out of Clemson. Him and Nitro Tuggle look to be the long-term 1-2 duo of the receiving core as Dameon Pierce gets the 2nd quarter started well with a gain of 16 to the 30. Even though the Chargers only lead 3-0, they have clearly been the better team through the opening quarter plus. They've just got to convert in the red zone. 3rd and 7. Herbert hit as he throws, and he throws it away. So the defense gets another timely stop. Why are the linemen dapping each other up? Like, Baron Browning clearly won the... whatever. This kick is from 44 to put the Chargers up 6-0, and it is good. So LA adds to the lead. We'll see if drive number 2 is a little more successful for the Broncos. 3rd and 6. Trevion Henderson with a juke move, and he is just short. Hendrickson and Derwin James bring him down. Certainly close enough to go for it. That is exactly what we're going to do. Here on 4th and inches at the 41. Play action. Nix with the fake. Rolls out under pressure. He's got his man. Chris Olave to the 25. A nifty play call by head coach Simeon Bonnet to keep the chains moving for the Broncos. Following play, here is Nix. Looking deep, it's picked off. It's Greg Newsome with the interception. Newsome gets by Thomas, and there he goes, past the 40, past the 30, shoved out of bounds at the 29 by Genty. It looked like the receiver was kind of open, but Bo Nix underthrew the ball enough to where Newsome is able to cut the route open. He's able to make a play on the ball, and the Chargers now have really good field position with a great chance to add to the lead even further. 3rd and 7, Nesbitt with a first down inside the 5, cannot get by Marvin Grant and friends, but he puts the Chargers back into the red zone. LA has had good drives, they just have not been able to finish them in the end zone. 1st and goal, Damian Pierce walks the red carpet, he is in. It has been all Chargers so far in Denver as they now lead at 13-0. Broncos got to get rolling, the offense has given us nothing. Final play before the 2-minute warning. It's Harold Fannin into the red zone to the 13-yard line. Now we're starting to get a little something going. We'll see if we can potentially capitalize off of that. 3rd down and 9 at the 12. Nix looks to throw it up the middle. Fannin catches it. Not enough for a first down, though. Ricardo Hallman with the stop. 4th and 3 at the 6. I just want to make sure we have points before halftime, and I don't think we're close enough to comfortably convert. 23-yard field goal is good for Big Nuts Lutz, and the Broncos are on the board at the very least, 13-3. Chargers back with it at the 27. Herbert up the middle with a strike. The rookie out of Georgia, Nitro Tuggle, speeding to the 49. Of course, being a Georgia Bulldog, he knows a thing or two about speeding. 30 seconds and 1 timeout here in the half for the Chargers. Herbert scrambles, goes short. It's Nesbitt. He gets it to the 23, wrapped up by Damon Clowney. Chargers are probably going to have to use that last time out here, and they will with under 30 seconds now. So they've got to be smart with how they manage the clock. Herbert threw it away on 1st and 2nd down. He'll do the exact same on 3rd down. He was hoping someone would get open towards the sideline or deep immediately. Doesn't happen, so the Chargers are going to have to kick again. 40-yard field goal try is up and good. LA has scored all 4 times they've gotten the ball. The problem is 3 of them, they only ended up with field goals. Nonetheless, they lead this game comfortably 16-3. Justin Herbert has outplayed his Oregon counterpart. Herbert 13 of 19, 162. Bo Nix, meanwhile, 9 of 13, which is 83 yards and an interception. If nothing else, Denver will start with it as on 3rd and 2. Genty is smothered for a loss of 4. That might be the first run-pass option where neither is a good option. The receiver was covered, and the running back was unblocked. Marley Cook with the TFL. Chargers back with it as Bryson Nesbitt holds on. For a defense who's played really well this year and is currently the #1 scoring defense in the NFL, they have not been very good in this game. 2nd and 5. Herbert is sacked. Finally, some pressure. Looks like the interior of the defensive line was there. I think Michael Williams among them. That'll make it a 3rd and 7 now at the 39 for the Bolts. R.J. Harvey in the game at running back. It's a screen for Harvey. Tries to bounce it outside, but he doesn't really know where he's going. Too much hesitation as he gets around 5, and the Chargers decide to punt it away. Still only a 2-score game as Nix goes up the middle for Olave. He gets it to around the 46 for a first down. Now we're kind of getting somewhere here. 3rd and 2, play action. Nix looks to throw it, scrambling around on the run. Tipped it incomplete. Broken up by Junior Colson, one of the top linebackers in the NFL. That'll make it 4th and 2. We're keeping the offense. Genty does not get it. Colson leads the way for the Chargers. Every time we play them, he has a Jeffrey Bossa-esque impact on the game. Great cover player, great run defender, great blitzer. He's the total package. Here's a big play for the Chargers to the 42. LA is moving it at will. It's Davis, the backup tight end, who makes the play for LA. Following play, Herbert on the blitz. He connects with Palmer. Josh Palmer to the 19-yard line. Even on the one drive where the Chargers didn't score, they moved it well. It's every drive that they're doing this, but they're only getting field goals. Kick is good. It's 19-3. We're only down by 2 scores, but it feels like we should be down by way more. From the 40, Nix scrambles, hit hard by Derwin James. Nix a little shaken up, grabbing at his chest or his wrist or something. but he's going to tough it out. He's only going to miss one play and comes back into the game. At the 49, 2nd and 9, up the middle, Olave gets 6, and Olave is hurt. He's grabbing at his chest and is seen going to the locker room. So now the offense is really falling apart. First it was the performance, 3 points in 3 quarters, and now everyone's getting hurt. Henderson runs through a defender, still on his feet, to convert the 3rd down as he gets it to the 27. An impressive run for Trey, who will finish off the drive with a touchdown. Travion Henderson finally with a score for us. It took us over 34 minutes to score a touchdown, and now we're going to go for 2. Trying to make it a 1-score game. Henderson, nowhere to go, runs into his lineman. That's Miles Mendison, the former Iowa State defensive lineman, who makes the play, and thus it is still a 2-score lead for the Chargers, who can breathe a little bit, up by 10. Herbert on 3rd and 6 at the 32, under pressure, looking deep for Nesbitt. He beats Javon McIntyre and is gone. 68 yards to the house for Bryson Nesbitt, who's got well over 160 yards at this point. It's a 3-score game again, 26-9. We came back down by 3 scores in 7 minutes against the Chargers last year. Now we got to do it in under 5. Mims converts on 3rd down to the 48. Following play with just over 4 to go. Nix scrambles on the run, floats it up, down the field, it is caught! Genty to the 5. Finally, a sense of urgency from the offense. 2nd and goal. Nix scrambles, looks to run, and he's in for a score. A quick touchdown by Denver. Hey, we got to start somewhere. It's a 2-score game again. Now we've got to get a stop here defensively. The run defense has been really good today. 3rd and 6 at the 2-minute warning. Here's Herbert, goes short, it is caught. Nesbitt breaks a tackle, but does not get the 1st down. Drew Sanders is there to finish off the play, and the Broncos are going to get it back. Just under 2 minutes with a couple timeouts in our back pocket. Nix on the run, he's got Mims, who hangs on near the 40. Big second half for Mims, and we're going to clock it with 1:12. The real question is, when are we going to use these timeouts? Because we might need them for another drive, but it might not be the worst idea to use some of them now. Here's Brazel with a juke move past the 40 to the 39. With under a minute to go, we're going to clock it at 48 seconds. So really at this point, we're not going to get another chance to stop them defensively. It's touchdown, onside kick, touchdown. Mims to the 28. Late hit perhaps? No call. 2nd and 4, still with both timeouts. Nick scrambles on the run. He's going to float it up for the end zone. It's caught! Harold Fannin for the touchdown. What an offensive 4th quarter for the Broncos, who 4 minutes ago were down by 17. Now we're down by 3. We made a similar comeback last year against these guys. It feels like deja vu. Now we've got to recover the onside kick and get the ball back. It is scooped up by the Chargers. Tuggle, who takes a big hit, but holds on to the ball. The comeback effort from the Broncos falls short. The Chargers win a pivotal, potential playoff deciding game, 26-23 here on the road. Leading 26-9 with 5 minutes left, the Chargers almost found a way to charger it, but they did not have enough time. Really strong game from Herbert. Bo Nix was good in the 4th, as was the entire offense, but when you twiddle your thumbs around and stick them in your rear end for 3 quarters, that's going to be the result. Both teams could not run the ball at all. Dameon Pierce and Ashton Genty's numbers are just horrific. Both tight ends were good, 160 yards for Nesbitt. Harold Fannin had 80 himself. The offensive line, the pass blocking was good. The run blocking, not so much. Defense was honestly not great, especially considering how good they've been throughout the year. The Chargers scored what felt like every time they got the ball. They only ended up with a couple of touchdowns, but they got consistent points throughout the game. Well, at least Marvin Mims is healthy, which, he was never injured to begin with. Cannot say the same for the rest of the receiving core, though. Chris Olave broke his ribs. Says he'll be out for 5 weeks, but it really doesn't look that bad because, well, we still have to simulate this week. We also have our bye week next week. So he's really only going to miss 3 games. We'll have him back at the end of the episode, week 18, against, ironically, the Chargers. Whoa, the Cardinals throttle the Bucs 42-10. Arizona looks like the real deal. They are the number 1 seed right now in the NFC. Players of the week, couple of Falcons and couple of Colts. Michael Penix, Josh Downs, Jesse Bates, and 3 interceptions for Julius Brents. It's like last week where we had teammates win it on both sides of each conference. Shout out Brents with a big game and the Colts bouncing back after getting blown out by us the previous week. Going into the bye week, we sit at 9-4 after the loss, still the number 2 seed in the AFC, but we control our own fate for the number 1 spot. Even though the Ravens are a game ahead of us, if we win out, we will be the number 1 seed because one of the teams we play against is Baltimore in 2 weeks at home on Sunday Night Football. So let's take a look at some scores across the rest of the league. We certainly want our AFC West counterparts to lose along with the other division winners in the AFC. The Browns losing is good. The Dolphins winning is not good. The Bills losing is nice. Jacksonville losing, we like that. The Raiders beat the Saints, though, not ideal. Arizona lost to Carolina, does not impact us, but interesting. The Chiefs beat the Chargers. I guess that's good because we had the tiebreaker over Kansas City, but not the Chargers. Jordan Love, Josh Allen, Byron Murphy, and Derwin James, your players of the week, as that gets us set to head to Las Vegas against the 8-5 Las Vegas Raiders, who very quietly have crept up behind us in the division, are now the number 7 seed. I did not realize they were 8-5 until I saw the matchup here. I didn't realize they were playing that well. For much of the year, they were struggling. These guys were sellers at the trade deadline. They traded away their starting left tackle, Miles Hinton, to the Cardinals. So if you remember, they started the year 2-5, including a loss against us. But they have won 6 games in a row, and they have beaten some good teams. They beat Arizona by 10. They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead by 17. They beat the Texans, who are not great, but have been pesky. The Bucs are no slouch. The Jets are no slouch. Defense played great in both of those matchups. And then they beat the Saints only by 1, but a win is a win on the road. Their defense has played some great football this year. Currently the number 3 scoring defense in the NFL, but for whatever reason, their defense always struggles against us. The Raiders, over the last 4 times we've seen them in the last 2 years, they've gotten picked apart in every game. Jalen Daniels, of course, has not been as good as he was last year, but he's still been pretty solid, and obviously he's improved considering the Raiders have won 6 games in a row. They've obviously got a great group of weapons with Devin Neal. Devontae Smith is healthy. The reigning Offensive Player of the Year did not go in the first meeting between these teams back in Week 5, but he is healthy today. Not quite as impressive as last year, but he still has 10 touchdowns in 12 games and has 822 yards in that stretch. Of course, they also have Ricky Pearsall and Jaden Higgins and Devin Hyatt and Brock Bowers. And the offense isn't even the strength of this team. It's the defense of Max Crosby, Terrion Arnold, Avion Terrell, Cooper DeJean. That's as good of a cornerback trio as you can find. Tremaine Edmonds in the middle of the defense. Nnamdi Madubuike and CJ Madden joining forces with Crosby up front. This is a really, really good football team, and even though they had the 25th ranked passing game in the NFL, we know how good Jalen Daniels can be. We are going to make a switch. Jaden Hicks will start at free safety instead of Javon McIntyre. McIntyre's lack of launch speed is becoming a little bit of a problem, especially against a team like the Raiders with a quarterback who can air it out and an offense who can make big plays. And our last 3 meetings against the Raiders were 3-0. We've taken care of business every time, but all 3 of those games were at home. We have struggled in this series in Las Vegas, particularly last year. 45-42, Jalen Daniels at 500 yards and 6 touchdowns in that game. Quick start, though, for Mykel Williams, forcing a loss of 4 on Devin Neal. 3rd down and 13 now for the Raiders. Daniels looks to throw it, scrambles around, and he is sacked. What a start for Mykel Williams, who's hot. He's one of the most hot and cold players in the NFL, but when he is hot, he is as good as anybody. Denver back with it. Our offense has had no issues against this stout defense over the last 2 years. Play action. Nick's on the run. He's got Mims, who is wrapped up at the 15 by Terrell. No Chris Olave for the next 3 games, so Mims will go back to being the full-time number 1. Ryan Williams and Chris Brazzell obviously going to have to play big roles along with Harold Fannin and the backs too. 1st and goal. Genty plows his way through, in for a score. Quick start for the Broncos. We did not start off quick against the Chargers, and I think our bye week being last week comes at a really good time, aside from it being late in the year, but coming off a loss. We got 2 weeks to think about that Chargers game, and we knew we had to start this game fast. Vegas back with it. Daniels lobs it up. He's intercepted. His former Kansas teammate Marvin Grant on the return past the 40. Grant still up to the 31. A huge takeaway by Marvin Grant, and the Broncos will get excellent field position. For Grant, that's his first interception of the year, just the third of his career. He's not known as the coverage guy, but he comes down with that one against his former Kansas counterpart. Nick slammed to the ground on second down. Max Crosby with the sack. It's been a challenging season for the young right tackle, Tree Babalade, and facing off against Crosby does not make things easier. Screen on third down. Trey Henderson with a good play after the catch. That'll get us into field goal range, but look at the penalty. Roughing the passer, a boneheaded mistake by Las Vegas, and an automatic first down for the Broncos. It's Vita Vea called for the flag. Another one of the very talented defensive linemen on this team, but a really stupid penalty. Nick's on the run. He's got Mims. He will cakewalk into the end zone for a touchdown. What a start for the Broncos, who lead this game 14-0. It has been all Denver through the first 7-ish minutes of the game, much like some of the matchups we've seen between these couple of teams in Denver over the last 2 years. Daniels misfires on third down. It's incomplete. Looked like he was trying to get that one to Jaden Higgins. Broncos get it back at the 28-yard line. We'll see if Denver can add to their lead, even with Crosby in the zone. Nix goes short. Genty with room to the outside, gets the first, and a big gain of nearly 20 for Ashton Genty. The offense just looks like they are in such a rhythm, dating back to the fourth quarter of the game against the Chargers. But we're not going to score here. Nix hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Vita Vea with the pressure. Tremaine Edmonds with some words, it looks like, for Trey Henderson as Las Vegas gets it back. Devin Neal and Devontae Smith in the backfield. Daniels under pressure. He is sacked. Michael Williams, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks in the first quarter. And then he might not get another sack for 4 weeks. That's just how he is. Into the second, 3rd and 16, it's a screen. Daniels looking to get something for Devin Neal, and it's only a gain of 6. Colin Wright brings him down. What a start defensively as the Broncos are going to get it back, looking to add to the lead even further. 2nd and 9 from the 36-yard line, already leading 14-0. Genty with it to the outside, gets a first and more. Big run for Genty to the 45. I love seeing the assertiveness that this team has had in their biggest regular season game of the year. With a win, the Raiders would tie us in the division standings as Fannin goes to the locker room. That's not good. But the Raiders can climb all the way back up, have the same record as us, have the equal tiebreaker. And as of right now, we're not letting any of that. 3rd and 3, Nix throws it away at the 38. I don't really know if we're in 4-down territory, but I really do not trust Will Lutz from 55, so we're going to punt the ball away. Let's get the defense back on the field. They've been so dominant all day. I trust them again. 3rd and 2 at the 15. Daniels calls for a switch. Handoff for Devin Neal, and he does not get it. Drew Sanders and Damon Clowney bring him down. The Raiders are going to punt it again. A goose egg for Las Vegas. The last time we were in this building, Jalen Daniels was launching the ball around the yard. Not today. 3rd and 10. Nix goes short. Mims with a gain of 6 to the 44. We decided to punt it again, pinning them back deep at the 2. 3rd and 9 now from the 3 with no room to do anything. Devin Neal gets it, tries to break away from Bassa. He cannot. An impressive gain of 8. But not enough for the first down. The Raiders have to punt it yet again. Denver gets it back at the 45-yard line on first down. The offense has gone a little cold. Nix looking deep for Mims. It's caught! Inside the 5, there is a flag. Defensive pass interference against Cooper DeJean. We will decline the penalty. And that reception for Marvin Mims makes history for him. His first ever 1,000-yard season. He's gotten above 900 3 times in this series, but not 1,000 until today. The drive finishes with a touchdown for Ashton Genty. 21-0 lead for the Broncos. This is getting ugly. The Raiders need a lot here. 3rd and 6. Daniels misfires for Ricky Pearsall. We have scored 41 points over the last, 25 minutes. Trey Henderson on 3rd and 1. They're not going to give him the first down. Wow. That is a little bit of a surprise. The Raiders are going to get it back. One more chance here in the first half to make this score look a little bit respectable. Daniels on the run. He's got Neal. Big hit by Bossa. And they're going to hurry back to the line. Not using their last timeout. 2nd and 5. Here's Daniels on the run. Floats it up. Tip, incomplete. Grant nearly doubled his career interception total in this game alone. Had he come down with that one. 3rd and 5 at the 47 now. 3, 2, 1. Daniels heaves it up, and it is incomplete. And that'll do it for a dominant Denver first half, 21-0. Our defense has looked unstoppable so far, and the offense has not been half bad themselves. We're throwing the ball well, we're running the ball well, and then the Raiders are just having nothing go their way. Jalen Daniels has not given them anything. Devin Neal has not had blocking. To start the third, guess who has the ball? 3rd and 9, it's caught! Chris Brazzell to the 48, what a catch. The ball is just bouncing our way today. Now looking at a 3rd and 2 from the 43. Nix appears to be calling a switch at the line, looks to throw it, looking for the end zone, it is incomplete. Trying to get it for Mims, looked like he had a little separation, but the secondary is able to make a nice play, and we're going to go for it. I think we're close enough here. 4th and 2 at the 43. It's Genty to the outside, gets a first down, breaks a tackle, and there goes Genty all the way to the red zone around 25 yards, pushed out by DeJean, and it will not matter because this one is coming back. A holding call against Rasheed Walker. That'll make it a 4th and 10, and we're just going to punt the ball. So the Raiders get it back, 3rd down and 6 from the 24. Daniels looks to throw it, and his pass is caught! Inbounds by Jaden Higgins, who has to high point the football. That was not a good throw. The rookie left tackle, Caleb Lomu, hurt on the play, the replacement for Miles Hinton, who's now in and extended in Arizona. Nice sack there off the blitz. Benjamin Morrison, one of the better blitzing DBs in the NFL, forces a loss of 9. 3rd and 14 now. Everybody on the Raiders offense moving around. 25 minutes, 0 points for Las Vegas. Why couldn't we have had a little bit of this last year in Vegas? Daniels looks to throw it. Looking deep down the field, one-on-one coverage. It's caught! Devontae Smith to the 4. This is what we were getting last year in Vegas. Daniels with a bullet for the reigning Offensive Player of the Year. Smitty had over 1,800 yards a season ago. 1st and goal, touchdown for Jaden Higgins, who scored twice in the win for the Raiders in this building. And Las Vegas is finally on the board. It took them over 2.5 quarters. It's 21-7. Denver gets it back, still up by 14. 2nd and 2. Nick scrambles to the right. On the run, he's got Mims. Tries to bounce to the outside. Not really able to. VJ Payne brings him down. How do you play at Kansas State, our rival, yuck, and then get drafted to the Raiders, our rival, yuck? We've got to be like extra haters for him. 3rd and 8, Henderson drops it. Broken up by Cooper DeJean. He's not a safety, and that'll force a punt. You can make the argument to kick a field goal here, but I really don't trust Lutz from 55, and then 8 yards out, I don't think you're going for it. What a punt, though, down at the 4 by Jake Cabarda, who's had a really good game. We've punted it a few times well past the 50, and Cabarda has done well. Now, the problem is the Raiders, who started at the 4, have brought it all the way to the opposing 43 to start the 4th. 2nd and 10. Daniels up the middle. It is hauled into the 20 by Rizzy Pearsall. Now at the 3, 1st and goal. They can make it a 1-score game with a touchdown. Devin Neal is in. He rolls over Mateo Uyunglele and is in for a touchdown. This game is not over. The Raiders' offense looking a lot better, and our offense has given us nothing in the second half. Only 7 points since the first quarter. Broncos back with it at the 40. Here is Nix up the middle. Good throw and catch. Rivaldo Fairweather breaking tackles. A gain of 27 yards. We needed that. We've got to get anything on offense, even if it's just a field goal. Just give us some points. 3rd and 18 now for Denver. 5.5 to go. It's an RPO. Chris Brazzell's got it with a flag on the play, and Brazzell gets around 17 We'll see what the penalty is, and they would call a holding. Really interesting decision for the Raiders. Is the defense, would you rather the 4th and 1 or the 3rd and 28? They're going to decline the penalty. That gives us an interesting decision. I don't think it's too tough, though. We're going to kick the field goal. Look, I get that it's 4th and 1. Normally, I'd want to go for it here. But the goal on this drive is not to score a touchdown. It's just to score. Give us points. Give us the 2-score lead. And probably a smart decision by the Raiders to decline it there to where we don't have another chance to punch it in the end zone. So it's 24-14 off the field goal, 10-point game, 4.5 to go. Las Vegas needs a lot. Here's Devontae Smith to around the 44-yard line. I mean, we almost came back against the Chargers a couple weeks ago, so why not the Raiders? That one is caught inside the 30 by Higgins. This team has looked reinvigorated here in the second half as Pearsall's in at running back on 2nd and 2. Daniels come back for the end zone. It's caught. It is Devin Hyatt, the rookie, drafted in the end of the first round out of the University of Arizona. 24-21. The Raiders are now only down by 3. 2-minute warning, 2nd and 3. Genty with a first down for Denver, as the Raiders are going to have to use their first time out, and Denver's getting closer and closer to potentially ending this game. At the 50 now, 2 timeouts left for Vegas. Right back to Genty with a juke move, and he gets about 9 or 10. That's perfect for us. I would have rather not gotten the first down because we can get on 2nd and inches and end the game. Right back to Genty, and he's got it. A first down for the Broncos, and that will do it. Denver hangs on despite the late comeback effort by the Raiders, winning it 24-21. And we will hold on to first place in the division, improving to a record of 10-4. Certainly not a perfect game. I mean, we did virtually nothing offensively after the first quarter, and the defense was not great in the second half. Very much like the Chargers game, where the Chargers sucked down the stretch, but it was too little too late. They did not have enough time to complete the choke, and that was the same with us today. We had a good game from Bo Nix, super efficient, didn't make mistakes. Jalen Daniels was god-awful in the first half, and he was unstoppable in the second half. Genty had a good game, Henderson not so much. Devin Neal was inefficient, but I don't think it was his fault. The offensive line did him no favors. The Raiders really spread the ball around. 8 catches for Pearsall, 7 for Higgins, 6 for Smith, 6 for Bowers. Mims at 125 yards and a touchdown. He was great, especially in the first half. Offensive line, I thought, had a really good game. Pass rush was good early. 16 tackles, goddamn, for Drew Sanders. Pass rush was good early, kind of quieted down, and then, of course, we had the interception as well by Marvin Grant. Not to mention, no new injuries, which is good. So we're 2 games ahead of the Raiders, and we swept them. So it doesn't look like Las Vegas can really win the division. They can still certainly get a wild card spot, but it's not going to be easy. As we look at our scores across the rest of the NFL, the Bills lose to the Steelers. I don't think we're really going to have to worry about seeding with Buffalo at this point. The Cardinals get blasted by the Jets. Holy moly. Ravens beat the Commanders, so we are still the number 2 seed. Brock Purdy wins the Player of the Week again, along with Dak Prescott, Roquan Smith, and Peyton Wilson. Gotta shout out Dak, man. He has resurrected the Cleveland Browns, who have been awful in this series. Number 1 pick 2 out of 3 years. Dak comes in and they're a playoff team, and they still have the number 1 pick, Sam Onatulu, waiting behind him. The future is bright in Cleveland. Dak Prescott's a freaking winner. I mean, the guy's already won 2 Super Bowls in this series, and Dallas has been fine without them. Hayden King has the Cowboys currently in the playoffs. So I feel like the Dak and Cowboys divorce has just been kind of good for everyone. So now we have 3 weeks to go, still the number 2 seed. Just like last year, a 2-7 matchup with the Bengals could be on the horizon. Cincinnati started 2-6, but has won 6 in a row. As for the Ravens, 11-3, number 1 seed. They've won 4 in a row. The winner of this game, chances are, will be the number 1 seed. And if Baltimore wins this game, then our chances of the number 1 seed are officially out the door. The Ravens are obviously led by this guy, Lamar Jackson, who... pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty hard to stop. 99 overall. Dynamite. Electric. Every word you can think of in the book, he's got it. They have the 3-headed monster at running back. 3 very differing skill sets. No Keaton Mitchell, though. Zay Flowers is one of the best receivers in the NFL. And then Jackson Pressey, the rookie, looks like a really good long-term number 2. Draylon Miller, who was picked late, looks like a big hit. And then Mark Andrews, still at tight end. he played really well against us last year. The defense is not highly rated. Their highest rated guy's only an 89, but they're good on that side of the ball. Nate Wiggins, Nick Scorton, Arvell Reese looks like a big hit. Ennis Rakestraw, Dafe Owe, Trenton Simpson. They are top 10 in every major defensive statistical category. Really, really solid unit, which seems to be always the case with Baltimore's defense. They don't have the star power of the 2000s, and they don't even have the star power of 5 years ago with Kyle Hamilton in Dallas, Roquan Smith in Tampa Bay, Nnamdi Madubuike with the Raiders, but they've drafted really well on that side of the ball. And then we've talked about the offense as well. Their O-line is quite strong, which includes former Bronco Quinn Miners, the one starter from last year's Super Bowl team, not on the roster this year. Nix is picked off on 2nd and 9 by Hunter Wohler. Nobody in front of him. He takes it all the way for a pick six. Just 1 minute into the game, in the matchup that may very well decide the number 1 seed, it's the Ravens with a defensive touchdown to take the lead. We cannot get the number 1 seed without winning this game, so that is certainly not a good start. Nix, comeback, nearly picked off by Nate Wiggins. I think that one was more on the receiver, though, Chris Brazzell. He didn't turn around quick enough at all. Clearly miscommunication, but nonetheless, we're lucky that was not a turnover. Ravens with it for the first time. Lamar Jackson joined by the former West Virginia back, C.J. Donaldson, as he rolls out to the right with plenty of room. And Lamar Jackson in open space is as dangerous as anyone. He's flipped over by Jaden Hicks, but not before getting 35 as Donaldson is dinged up for the Ravens. They're already without Keaton Mitchell, so we really might see a lot of Le'Veon Moss today, the former Texas A&M back. As on 3rd and inches, Mark Andrews does not get it. Jeffrey Bossa with yet another TFL, and the Ravens have a 4th down decision to make. With 5:23 to go, they're going to keep the offense out on the field. They really want to build an early lead, really set the tone, as it's Moss smothered at the line of scrimmage by guess who? Jeffrey Bossa makes the play again. And the Broncos get it back. Slow start for us offensively. We'll see if drive number 3 can be a little better. On 1st down, on the run, risky throw, hauled into the 25. Marvin Mims with a nice grab, and Denver all of a sudden is starting to get something going, moving down the field here in the snow. Trey Henderson, juke move, breaks a tackle, and he is in for a touchdown. With the elements, with the weather, I want to get the ground game going more than ever. So we're going to need Henderson and Genty to play well. Really good run there by Trey to put us on the board. I think for a team like Baltimore, who has an identity and a quarterback to run the football, the snow can really go to their advantage. Lamar does not get away from pressure, though. It's Mykel Williams in the backfield with a sack. Didn't really lose too many yards there, but hey, a sack is a sack. Doesn't matter how big it is. Pause. 3rd and 11 at the 38. It's a screen for Moss, and he does not get the first down. Colin Wright wraps him up after a gain of around 6. Good play there defensively. We're looking good on defense so far because keep in mind, the Ravens' only touchdown was the pick 6. That was not to the fault of our defense at all. Denver has it back, tied at 7 late in the first. Nix, pocket collapses, tough throw, hauled in. The rookie from Kansas, Mario Maddox, with the first down. Now into the second quarter, 3rd and 1. Henderson the back, along with Bo Nix. Nix looks to throw it again. It's a blitz. Under pressure, hit as he throws incomplete. We've got a decision to make off the pressure by Nick Scorton. Even though we're not quite past the 50, I think we're close enough to go for it. Here on 4th and 1, I trust us in short yardage spots, and Genty delivers. He gets it from 148 to the other. It's a gain of 4, and that will keep the chains moving for the Broncos offense. On 1st down, Mims weaves through defenders inside the 10, the 5 to the 1. A gain of 21 yards for Marvin Mims, and the Broncos now on the doorstep of potentially taking the lead. Now a 1st and goal at the 1 for Denver. Nix looks to throw it, scrambles on the run. He's got Genty, who throws himself off the defender and is in for a touchdown. Ashton Genty puts the Broncos ahead. Both of the running backs have scored today. Henderson on the ground, Genty through the air, and Denver takes their first lead of the night here on Sunday Night Football as it's 14-7. Ravens have it back, 2nd and 1 from the 49. Their offense has shown virtually nothing through 15 minutes as it's play action. Lamar on the blitz is sacked. Jeffrey Bossa brings him down. Lamar a little shaken up. Bossa's been all over the field in the first half, even more so than normal, which says a lot because he's already the best off-ball linebacker in the NFL. For the 45, Lamar steps up, scrambles, and is sacked again. Guess who? Jeffrey Bossa, his second of the drive. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. I have run out of adjectives to describe him other than depoy. Give him the award. 3rd and 11. Lamar up the middle. Nice grab. It's Luke Haas, the backup tight end. Youngster out of Arkansas. Mandrews got a little banged up earlier. Haas getting some reps. Takes advantage there. 3rd and 3. It's a screen. Incomplete. The pressure too much. Bossa was ready in coverage. And despite the fact that their offense is not scored yet today, the Ravens will keep the offense on the field rather than kicking a field goal. Interesting decision here from head coach John Harbaugh. Lamar on the option. Completely fools the defense inside the 10. Wrapped up by Jaden Hicks. I'm not sure why the defense was fooled. I feel like you got to have at least 1 or 2 guys ready for the Lamar scramble. 3rd and 8. Short throw is caught. Not enough for the first down. Great tackle on Moss by Drew Sanders. The Ravens now are going to kick a field goal. Odd. I don't know if I agree with that one. 4th and 1. Not even. Maybe 4th and inches. At the 2-yard line, I don't agree with this one at all. This is a weak call. But nonetheless, the kick is good, so they do score. I don't get kicking it on a 4th and inches at the 2, but going for it on a 4th and 3 at like the 30. But that's neither here nor there. 14-10 your score going into half. Obviously a little rocky with the pick 6 by Hunter Wohler in the opening minute. But we definitely picked it up after that. Knicks 12 of 18, 120, a touchdown and a pick. Lamar 11 for 14, but only 82 yards. The Ravens have really focused on getting the ball in the short to intermediate game. 3rd and 11, Lamar on the run, batted away by Drew Sanders. There is only one receiver in this game who has more yards than 17 for either team. That's Marvin Mims, 5 catches, 61 yards. He has been busy in this one. 3rd and 10, Knicks up the middle. It's Mims to the 21 for a gain of 20. He's the only receiver who's been impressive for either team as the youngster Cam Franklin is hurt for the Ravens. 3rd and 5. Knicks under a little pressure. He's got Mims into traffic with 3 defenders circling the area. Doesn't matter. Mims makes his 7th catch of the game. 3rd and goal. RPO. It's Mims. Walks it in for a touchdown. What a drive. What a game it has been for Marvin Mims despite the snow, where neither team has been able to consistently air it out, and none of the other receivers have been good. Not stopping him. 8 catches, touchdown, and nearly 100 yards for Marvin Mims. I hope you started him in your fantasy playoffs. Ravens have it back down by 11 on 3rd and 9. Lamar throws it away. Our defense is pitching a gem. I mean, these guys have only allowed 3 points so far. Again, you can't really dock the pick 6 against them. I was entirely on Bo Nix in the offense. That was before the defense even touched the field. 3rd and 4. Nix scrambles to the right under pressure. It's all in. Nice grab. Ryan Williams to the 34-yard line. Quickly wrapped up by Calvin Simpson-Hunt, who had a pick 6 against us last season. From the 34, it's Trevion Henderson. Tries to find the hole, and he does. Henderson, the juke move inside the 10. The 5. All the way into the end zone for a touchdown. 34 yards out. What a run by Trevion Henderson. I mean, his short yardage movement ability is really second to none. Ashton Genty may be the more physical, the more stronger runner. He does not move like Trey does, and you see it on that play, juking out the safety, and then nobody's beating him in a foot race. 28-10, a 3-score lead is on 1st down. It's Moss smothered in the backfield. Jeffrey Bossa again. He's at least 4 or 5 TFLs in this game alone at this point. Some defensive players don't even get that in a season. I think that's going to be a penalty on Bossa right as we're gassing him up, an illegal contact, and that'll give them an automatic 1st down. That would have ended the drive. A rare mistake by Bossa, who's played basically a perfect game up until that play. Only around 7 minutes left in the 4th. The Ravens are moving it well, but slowly. Lamar for the end zone, broken up. His target, I think, was Colin Wright. I mean, that would be the only explanation to that decision. What was he trying to do there? Ravens are going to go for it again on 4th and 3. It's Moss. Does not get it. Jeffrey Bossa brings him down. How many times are we going to call his name today? I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Bossa with another stop for the Broncos as we will get it back on offense. 3rd and 3. Trying to choose some clock. Genty does not get it, though. Good stop by Baltimore. It's Arvell Reese, the young linebacker out of the Ohio State University. We would decide to punt it. Ravens trying to get something going here. Nice grab by Tez Walker to the 30. Quickly pushed down by Pat Surtain. 2.5 to go now. 3rd and inches. Jackson Pressey, the rookie from Alabama, is in motion. Remember, we thought about drafting him. Lamar scrambles under pressure, throws it away. Good job by the defense. Mateo Uiagalelei sends him down. The Ravens have struggled on 4th downs in this game. We'll see if they can convert here. 4th and inches at the 20. It'll be a handoff for Moss. Gets by Bossa, but does not get by the rookie from Kansas, Seth Jennings. Drew Sanders there as well, but that was really Jennings who led the way. Denver looking to slam the door. Nix is going to try to almost take the sack intentionally by Nick Scorton. He wasn't going to throw the ball away because that stops the clock. He wasn't going to force a bad pass. He's just trying to give himself a safe landing zone to where he doesn't fumble the ball. 5 seconds left for the Ravens. 2nd and 10. Lamar looks to throw it, and he is sacked to finish the game. Mykel Williams and Aleem the Dream bring him down, and that will do it. 28-10 here in snowy Denver, Colorado on Sunday Night Football. The Broncos proved to the national audience that they are still very much the favorite in the AFC and have now taken over the #1 seed with 2 weeks to go from the Baltimore Ravens. We now have the same record as Baltimore, but we own the head-to-head tiebreakers. So if we stay the same, then the #1 seed will belong to us. Great team win. I thought the offense played really well despite the conditions, and the defense was terrific. The Ravens had a defensive touchdown in the first minute of the game. They had 3 points the rest of the way. I thought Bo was solid after the interception, whereas Lamar Jackson was pretty efficient, but, I mean, he was only throwing checkdowns. The longest pass from either team was 21 yards. Lamar ran it well. Le'Veon Moss did not. Trey Henderson was the standout for us. He scored twice. As for the receiving game, 8 catches, 89 yards for Marvin Mims. Le'Veon Moss had 11 catches for 53 yards. A lot of checkdowns, a lot of tackles for loss, particularly from this guy, Jeffrey Bossa. 17 tackles, 6 for a loss, along with 2 sacks and great coverage. This was an all-time game we got for a linebacker today. I mean, Jeffrey Bossa's given us a treat since we drafted him. He was not the only guy who played well. Mykel Williams had a good game, had a sack and a half. Benito had a sack as well. But we got to talk about Jeffrey Bossa. I mean, when this series is all said and done, and obviously we're getting kind of close to the close within the next couple of weeks, Jeffrey Bossa has to be the best player from this series, right? I mean, I don't think there's much of a debate. Baron Browning, abdominal tear. He will be out until the playoffs, which is unfortunate. But it's good that we'll be having him back once we really need him. Unfortunately, though, for Barron, I think he's starting to run out of tank, like, in his career. I mean, he's going to be 30 next year. 3.5 sacks to start the year, only 1.5 since, and he's had a hard time staying on the field this year. The Cincinnati Bengals have won 7 games in a row. They are red hot from 2-6 at the deadline to now in the playoff picture. That is crazy. Another loss for the Cardinals, another loss for the Chargers. The Raiders lose as well, while the Chiefs beat San Francisco. Players of the week, Caleb Williams, Joe Burrow, Malik Muhammad, and of course, Jeffrey Bossa. Thank goodness. I was worried he was not going to win it. I'm curious to see where he stacks up in the Defensive Player of the Year race. There's Bo Nix. Bossa's currently in second behind his former college teammate at Oregon, Sko Ducks, Jordan Birch. I mean, the 32 TFLs should kind of speak for themselves. The stats don't really show how good he's been in coverage as well. Jordan Birch has had a great season. I think he's at 15.5 sacks for New England. But I think this should be Jeffrey Bossa. He's having one of the all-time great linebacking seasons. Think Luke Kuechly, Ray Lewis. I mean, he has been that type of impact, and I don't say that lightly. He has been the superstar of this team who we drafted in year 1 and has become an all-time player here in Channel Lore. So with 2 weeks to go, the #1 seed is ours for the taking. We control our own fate. If we win these last 2 games, it's ours. It's It's not going to be easy, though, with the Bills and the Chargers, both of whom are hanging on for dear life in the playoff race. You've got the Bills at 8-7, the number 9 seed, who are a game behind 7th and 8th place. So pretty much, they've got to win both of their last 2 games if they want to make the playoffs. So there's, of course, a whole lot at stake here. These two teams are quite familiar with each other. We've played against Buffalo in their building in the playoffs twice in this series. Our very first playoff game in the snow, Season 2, we got the upset, but then the following season, the Bills got revenge in the divisional round. And that was the year where they were the number 1 seed, the overwhelming favorite. They only lost like 1 or 2 games, but they ended up losing in the AFC title game to Kansas City. The Bills have had some really good teams in this series and have never gotten over the hump. They've been streaky this year. They won 5 in a row, lost 3 in a row, got back on track with a big win against Cleveland, and now they've got 2 more big games with teams who are ahead of them in the playoff race with us and then the Dolphins next week. Of course, they're led by Josh Allen, who is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, only trailing Joe Burrow in the MVP race. Allen, now 32 years old, has still yet to make the Super Bowl. Him and the Bills have been extremely close throughout the entire duration of the series. It feels like every year they make the AFC Championship game, but they never have been able to get over the hump. And this definitely does not feel like one of their better teams. But they've still got a good group with James Cook and Parker Jenkins leading the backfield. Keon Coleman has become one of the best receivers in the league, along with Vlad McConkey, Khalil Shakir, and Jordan Faison. I don't know why they have a bunch of slot receivers, but okay. Dalton Kincaid's still here as well, and then a talented defense with Fred Warner, Greg Rousseau. They've drafted well with guys like Ruben Bain and Malachi Starks. They traded for Marlon Humphrey from Washington at the trade deadline, hoping he could be the missing piece on that side of the ball. Should be a fun one here on Monday Night Football, again in the snow, eerily similar to our Season 2 wild card victory. If I had known it was snowing, I don't know if I would have gone for the whiteouts, but we're already here. We can't really do anything about it. 2nd and 1. Nix floats it up. He's got Chris Brazzell out of bounds at the 19-yard line. A quick start for Brazzell as it's a gain of 27. 3rd and goal at the 1. Genty plows his way through. He's in for a touchdown, showing off the dance moves. Genty very close to the 1,000-yard threshold in terms of rushing yards. I would expect he'll hit that some point tonight. Bills now with it, 3rd and 12. Here is Josh Allen, scrambles around, under pressure, looks to run, does not get the first. Take a guess at who stopped him. Jeffrey Bossa comes flying in and launches him into the air. Denver gets it back, 3rd and 12 at the 45. Here is Nix, goes short. Marvin Mims tries to get away from the defenders, but is wrapped up shy of the yard to gain by Jay Sean Barnum, the former Michigan linebacker. Final play of the first quarter for Buffalo. Allen's pass is caught. Nice grab by Vlad McConkey to the 38, acquired last year at the trade deadline from LA, a guy who we're familiar with, given that he was with the Chargers for 3.5 years. At the 38, Allen floats it up, wide open, James Cook gets by the defender, wrapped up by Marvin Grant and Damon Clowney, but not before getting 28 yards through the air. 3rd and 1 at the 1 for Buffalo. Allen all alone in the backfield, about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. A little bit odd as he looks to scramble, and he's in! Josh Allen ties it at 7 with a rushing touchdown, and it looks like the Bills, with their season on the line, are going to give us a game. Given some of the other results across the NFL, it is a doom or gloom scenario for the Bills. Win and their season continues, lose and their chances are done. On 1st down, Nix surveys the field. On the run, he's got Mims. What a throw and a great play after the catch. A huge gain of 47 yards for Marvin Mims. What a play by Bo Nix. I mean, that is as impressive as a throw as I've ever seen him make. 1st and goal, Genty puts the shoulder down. He is in for a touchdown. His 2nd of the ball game. Good start for Genty. Good drive by Denver. And the Broncos quickly regain the lead. It's 14-7. Little under 6.5 to go in the first half for Buffalo. 2nd and 9. Allen scrambles, and he is sacked. Mykel Williams is hot right now. I mentioned earlier how he's really hot and cold. This feels like one of his hot streaks. He has played really well over the last few weeks, really dating back to the Raiders game. 3rd and 18 now. Allen looks to throw under pressure. There's Mykel Williams again. Nick Bonito joins him. Mykel Williams is such a funny player because he can go through like a 10-snap spree with 2.5 sacks and then not get another one for 3 weeks. There's Mims with a juke move to the 11. Marvin Mims having himself quite the start as he inches closer to the 100-yard threshold still in the first half. 3rd and 6, an out route for Ryan Williams. It's close to the first down, but not quite. Wrapped up by Humphrey. Not Marlon Humphrey, that's John Humphrey, the 4th-year corner out of USC. Denver's going to go for it. Interesting decision up 7. Next, it's caught! Marvin Mims for the touchdown. Even though he was open, that really was not a great throw. It was a little bit off, but Mims with a diving grab in for the score. Marvin's playing out of his mind in this first half as it's 21-7 in favor of Denver. 3rd and 10, Allen up the middle. Keon Coleman keeps the drive going as he brings it to the 46. Got to start to feel a sense of urgency here if you're the Buffalo offense. 3rd and 6 at midfield. Allen looks to throw it, and he's wrapped up. Damon Clowney with the pressure. Bills got to punt it. Denver can make it a 3-score game, and they've got all 3 timeouts along with a minute. 3rd and 2 at the 40. Up the middle. I don't know who that was to, but it was deflected off of someone's helmet. I imagine he was looking for Mims, who looked like he was going to be open. But that'll lead to a punt. Bills get it back under a minute left in the first half. From the 21-yard line, first play of the drive, Allen looks out of bounds. It is bobbled and intercepted. Patrick Surtain corrals it in. He tips the feet inbounds to force the turnover. I think that ball kind of juggled in his hands for a second. He didn't initially get it, but he's able to come down with a huge takeaway, and Denver now has a golden chance to make it a 3-score game. They don't even need a big drive from the offense because the defense is going to give them the field position. 3rd and 5 at the 20. On the run, it is caught. Ryan Williams, he is in for a touchdown! Ryan Williams has had an impressive first half, 6 catches, 55 yards, and now a 20-yard touchdown. Denver leads it 28-7 in full control. An embarrassing effort in the most important game of the year from the Bills defense. Parker Jenkins gets nothing on 3rd down. Bossa brings him down. I called a timeout figuring, hey, maybe we can add to the lead. Didn't happen, but a dominant first half, 28-7. Bo Nix is playing great. He is 18 of 25, 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen just 8 of 16, 132 with a pick. Marvin Mims alone has 6 catches for 90 yards. He has been electric. 1st and 5, here's Allen. Scrambles, runs, gets the first, ball's out, and Cook scoops it up. As soon as Allen was running, Marvin Grant locked his eyes onto him, and he figured, if I'm going to get a clean hit, this ball's coming out. That's exactly what happens, and the Bills are lucky that James Cook was right there to scoop it up and keep the big gain from Allen. The 21, play action. Allen up the middle, it's caught. Keon Coleman tries to break away from Grant. He cannot, but he gets it to the 1. For a Bills team who needed a spark, they're getting exactly that to start the 3rd quarter. 1st and goal for Buffalo. Allen looks to throw it. Short pass is caught for a touchdown by Jordan Faison. The former lacrosse star turned standout for Notre Dame's national championship team, led the NCAA in receiving yards last season, and now makes a big grab here in the snow for a touchdown. Denver looking to respond. Harold Fannin brings it to the 50, a good gain from the tight end, who I feel like hasn't quite lived up to his great season last year, but we've gotten him more involved in the offense as the year's gone along. Up the middle, Ryan Williams, his 7th catch of the game. He's been busy. Gets it to the 28. Our passing attack picking up right where they left off from the first half. Bo Nix is having one of his best games as a Bronco. I mean, he's been awesome. On the run, it is caught. That's Mims. Walks into the end zone again. His 2nd touchdown of the night. Marvin Mims is balling in your fantasy championships. So all the people who said we should trade him away, I hope you're playing against him and losing. Bills back down by 3 scores. 3rd and 9. Allen is sacked. This could get ugly. Mykel Williams, Mateo Uiagalelei, both there to bring him down. Uiagalelei and Allen with words after the fact. Bills would get it back, though, off of a stalled Denver drive at the 39 up the middle. Keon Coleman with plenty of room. Looks to outrun right, and he is tackled in the end zone for a touchdown. Bills are not looking to quit yet. They bring it back within 2 scores, 35-21. Now the final play of the third, 2nd and 6. Nix tries to evade the pressure. He cannot. Harold Perkins brings him down. That'll wrap up the third. Denver leads by 14, but with a 3rd and 23, we'll see if the Bills can get the ball back. Play action, Nix. He's got who else but marvelous Marvin Mims. 8 catches, 141 yards as he brings it to the 40. That is a gigantic play for the Broncos who are looking to keep this comfortable lead. 3rd and 5. Nix rolls to the right, under pressure. It is broken up. Try to get it to Mims. Good coverage by Marlon Humphrey. Would have been a really hard ball for Mims to come down with. Bills get it back. They've got to score here with under 8 to go at the 37. Allen up the middle. Finds Dalton Kincaid to the 29-yard line. A big gain for Buffaloes. Their tight end Kincaid gets around 35. Now around 5.5 minutes to go. They have it at the 11. 2nd and goal. Allen up the middle. It's caught. Diving into the end zone for a touchdown is Ladd McConkey. The Bills bring you within 1 score, and now they're going to go for 2. Smart decision from Sean McDermott. The analytics favor going for 2 in this spot. Allen's pass is dropped. Colin Wright jars the ball away from Jordan Faison. 35-27. Now Denver looking to choose some clock. 3rd and 6. Nix on the run. It is caught. Ryan Williams with a first down to around the 50. Bo's sitting at over 350 yards now. 3rd and 4, nearing the 2-minute warning. Game clock and play clock are pretty much equal. Bo will look to throw it under pressure, and he is sacked. Another big play there by Buffalo. Since the play clock and game clock were even, I wanted to throw the ball, but didn't end up working out. So the Bills are going to get it back. First play, Allen wide open. Jordan Faison. Wright will catch up past the 30. Faison's launch speed is really slow, but he still ends up with a gain of 56. Bills need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it, trailing by 8. Faison in motion. Allen up the middle. Ladd McConkey hauls it into the 10. The Bills don't even need to hurry up. I mean, 2 plays in, they're near the goal line. They can use as much time as they want. 2nd and 10, minute 15. Allen up the middle. It is caught. Keon Coleman in for the touchdown. And the Bills, who were once down 28-7, 35-14, they will go for 2 to try to tie it. Allen's pass is caught by a wide open Coleman. It's an octopus. All 8 points scored by Coleman. Just a 4-play drive. We're tied at 35 with 1 minute and 8 seconds left. Bo Nix and the Broncos have all 3 timeouts. Nix rolls to the right. No one's open early. He's patient, and he's got Marvin Mims, who's out of bounds. His 9th catch of the game, now sitting at 161 yards. Lutz warming up. They say his target is the 43. I feel like it's more like the 33, and with the snow, it might be the 23. Genty does not get it on 3rd and 4. Malachi Starks brings him down. 4th and 1 at the 46. This is a season-altering play call. We're keeping the offense, and look who's in at fullback. The big fella, Samu Tamumanpepe, with a gain of 6. We haven't been able to use him over the last couple of weeks. He's been banged up. I've been trying to save him for a big moment. And after the conversion, we call the timeout. I don't want to rush into a no-huddle. We're going to use one there. 2nd and 2, RPO. Mims is wide open. We're not going to have him go in the end zone. That is firmly on purpose. We could score a touchdown, take the lead by 7. We could also not let the Bills get the ball back at all. So I'm going to use my timeout, where you still have 1, at the 3, 1st and goal. The goal here is to center the kick. Genty might lose a yard or 2. That's fine. We're going to have the clock go all the way down to 2 seconds, and then bring the field goal team on. Will Lutz from 21 yards out to keep fate in our own hands for the number 1 seed, to clinch the AFC West, and to eliminate the Bills from playoff contention. 21 yards, Will Lutz for the win. It is good! 38-35. The Denver Broncos with a win in Week 18 will be the number 1 seed, and we have officially clinched the AFC West, our second consecutive division title. We are going back to the playoffs for good. So if nothing else, we will have at least one more episode of gameplay. What a game this ended up being. A dominant first half turned into a near choke in the second half, much like the Chargers game where they almost blew it, and then the Raiders game where we almost blew it. Both quarterbacks were terrific. I think Bo Nix might have had his best game as a Bronco. I mean, holy moly. The throws he was making, he was accurate, pushing the ball downfield despite the snow. And then Josh Allen was just as good. Trey and Genty nearly had identical rushing stats, while James Cook had -4 yards. And then shout out to the big fella, Pepe, with the big 4th down conversion. 11, 150, and 2 touchdowns for Keon Coleman. Marvin Mims one-upped him. 10 for 191. I imagine that's a career high and a score. Williams at 85, Kincaid 83, Fannin 82, McConkey 70, and Faison 65. Defensively, both teams had their good moments. We were good in the first half. They were good in the second half, but ultimately, we were able to hold on. Here's a look at our scores across the NFL in Week 17. As for the players of the week, Jordan Love, Quinn Ewers, Dylan Brooks, the former Jayhawk, with 3 sacks. Love to see it. And then Jahdae Barron with the Colts. Happy for our guy Dylan Brooks, former 7th rounder with the Bucs, has carved out a nice little role in Arizona with the Cardinals. So we're now the number 1 seed. We've clinched the division, and our seeding pathway is pretty simple. If we win or the Ravens lose, we're the number 1 seed. If we lose and the Ravens win, we are the number 2 seed. So really the only team we're worried about is Baltimore. Our last opponent is the Chargers, who have not won since they beat us in Week 13. They have utterly collapsed, losing 4 in a row. Their defense was one of the lower scoring defensive units in the NFL. 4 weeks later, it's one of the highest. We already played this team today. We already know what they're made of. We already know what they're capable of, but they have collapsed since then. And this Chargers team, after that win, I thought had a chance to make some noise in the division race. Now, not even an hour later, they are the 14th seed in the AFC. Playoffs is well out of the picture for them at this point, and they're potentially staring down the barrel of a top 10 draft pick. They still want to play spoiler, though, against their rivals as we look to clinch the number 1 seed for the first time in this series at the 32. Nix has got Marvin Mims, who had an unbelievable game last week. Nearly 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was electric in the snow. Finally, non-snow. I think our team might just be better in the snow, though, which is unfortunate that we're playing in sunny California. Nix is to throw it away. Good pressure by the Chargers, and we're going to bring out the field goal unit. Lutz made the game winner last week. This one a little longer from 49. It is good. For all the chatter earlier in the year that Will Lutz is washed, he's only missed 2 field goals the entire season. He hasn't missed probably since like week 3. Probably because we haven't had him kicking far, but still, point remains. Herbert launches it out of bounds on 3rd down. Aleem McNeil with the pressure. So that'll force a punt, and Denver gets it back. No Ashton Genty for the Broncos. He suffered a quadricep injury in practice as Nix is sacked. He's wrapped up on the play by Patrick Payton. I don't even hate that Genty's not playing. Just have him healthy for the postseason. He's played in every game this year, over 1,000 yards. He's done what he's needed to. That one is broken up for Olave, who's back in the lineup. Greg Newsome tied for an NFL lead in interceptions with 7, including the one against us earlier in this episode. Good to have Olave back, though, who's been injured since the last meeting with the Chargers. Herbert throws it away on 3rd and 9. More pressure from the interior. That was Uiagalelei. That'll lead to a punt, and the Broncos get it back. So Trey Henderson will be the lead back in this game, but we'll see some L.J. Martin. We'll see some Zamir White. Play action. Another sack for the Chargers. Their pass rush has been impressive early. That's Marley Cook. 3-0 into the second. A defensive start. Crazy after our 38-35 win last week. 3rd and 17. Nix under pressure. Got to get rid of it. Incomplete. I feel like this team, you never know what they're going to get on a game-by-game basis, but despite that, we have the number 3 scoring offense and the number 3 scoring defense. We are really, really strong on both sides of the ball. 3rd and 6. This one is caught. Not enough for the first down for Pierce. It's only a gain of 3. Wrapped up by Colin Wright. Defense is playing great today. They've looked a lot better than they did at the end of last week. That'll lead to a punt. Denver gets it back. 3rd and 12. Nix hit as he throws, and it is caught. Chris Olave hangs on, pushed out of bounds by Newsome, but not before getting the first down. 3rd and 4, a little over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Still only 3-0. As Nix looks to throw it up the middle, it's caught. Hauled in by Fannin to the 11. I mean, our offense couldn't do anything against these guys in the first 3 quarters earlier today. I guess it's not that unreasonable that it's happening again. 2nd and goal at the 1. Look who's in at fullback. Number 99, the big boy, Tomu Monpepe, in for a touchdown. If you bet Tomu Monpepe for the first touchdown scorer, A, you probably want a lot of money. B, call the number. You're a sicko. Chargers back with it, 3rd and inches, under 2 minutes to go. It's Dameon Pierce. First down, flipped over near the 20 by Colin Wright. The Chargers trying to score their first points of the game. 3rd and goal at the 2. Herbert looks to throw it back in the end zone for the rookie, Nitro Tuggle. In for a touchdown, and the Chargers are on the board. We didn't get a lot of offense early, but both teams now scoring late in the first half. Chargers would get it back with a couple seconds now for a couple more plays as it's caught. TJ Moore brings it to the 40. Does this put them potentially in field goal range using a timeout? That being their final. So if they want to do something here, realistically, they've either got to go for the end zone or throw it away or throw it to the sidelines to get closer. 2nd and 10. Herbert under pressure. He's sacked! No field goal for LA. Michael Williams wraps up the first half, keeping Denver ahead 10-7. This has been a good game, even though it's been low scoring. Our defenses look good. The offense starting to come along. Keep in mind, this is the final regular season game of the series. So enjoy it while we have it, because after this, it's playoff games and then the long-term sim. This is the last game that we can watch and be a little bit relaxed, even with a lot at stake. I mean, it's not obviously a playoff game. Herbert on 3rd and 4, scrambles, gets the first down, slides past the 50. Damn, Bossa wanted to rip his head off. That's another Oregon guy. Those two, they should be in sync. Bossa shouldn't be trying to light him up. 3rd and 8, Herbert looks to throw it up the middle. Nice pass into the breadbasket. It's Moore to the 15. Herbert's catching his groove after kind of a slow start where he was not that impressive in the first half. 3rd and goal now at the 4. Herbert looks to throw it. It is caught into the end zone for a touchdown. It's Nesbitt. He had the crazy game against us back in week 13, and he puts the Bolts ahead 14-10. So now the offense has some catching up to do. Now that our defense is starting to let their guard down. At the 39, Nix fumbles the ball. Pick it up! Good recovery by Babalade. That was Pat Payton flexing on him. He's injured. He's had a really good game, though. We would get nothing off of that drive and have to punt it away. At the 6, on first down, Herbert sacked at the 1 by the rookie Seth Jennings. His first full sack in his NFL career. He had a half sack before that, a number of weeks back. Finally gets a full sack. I feel like Jennings has gotten better as the year has gone along, which is obviously a big deal for his future. Pierce only gets a yard on 3rd and 12, wrapped up by Jeffrey Bossa. Enjoy him while we have him. Obviously, again, given that we're getting closer to the end of the series. Under a minute left in the 3rd, here is Nick. Scrambles under pressure, sacked again. Marley Cook, his 2nd. Our offensive line has had a rough one. It's been maybe the worst game of the year in terms of our pass protection. 3rd and 10, off the play action. Herbert on the run, it is caught. Marvelous Marvin to the 20. Now into the 4th quarter. It is a 3rd and 5 at the 15. Our offense did nothing in the 3rd. Zamir White with a juke move. He gets 3 and is close. Junior Colson brings him down. He's had a great game for the Chargers, unsurprisingly. 4th and 2. Denver will go for it. White in the backfield. It's a pass. Short throw. Caught by Olave. I was worried he was going to slide the wrong way. He did that in the last episode in the game against the Jaguars. Gets the first down, though, which is the important thing. 2nd and 10 now. Nix looks to throw it up the middle. It's Brazel into the end zone for a touchdown. And for Chris Brazel, that is his first touchdown of the entire season. When I was looking through the stats before the game, I could not believe that he had not scored all year until then, in the 4th quarter of Week 18. Better late than never. 2nd and 4, Chargers down by 3. Herbert is sacked by Michael Williams. He's had a good game, and he's had a great episode, now sitting at 10.5 sacks on the year, despite the fact that he missed a few games and also had a few games where it felt like his presence was non-existent at some times. 3rd and 10 at the 29. It's a screen. R.J. Harvey only gets 2. Wrapped up by Jeffrey Bossa, who, of course, is a very good shot of winning the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, I certainly would vote him first place. Under 6 minutes to go. 3rd and 3. Bo looks to throw it. He'll go short. Henderson will get the first down. Wrapped up just shy of the 50 by Derwin James. We're now in true clock mode, and with no Ashton Jeanty, we'll be calling upon Henderson, who missed some time in the first half. He was a little banged up, but he's good now. Nix is sacked again for a 5th time in this game. Our offensive line has sucked, flat out. That was the rookie out of Texas A&M, Tristan Jernigan, as Nix has to throw it away under pressure again. The tackle play has really not been great. Andrew Thomas, for what it's worth, got injured again, so that's Tyler Johnson at left tackle. 3-point game, short throw for Pierce, and he loses 4. Jeffrey Bossa saw it coming from a mile away. It's like he knows what's going on in the quarterback's brain. 3rd and 14, short pass is caught. Nesbitt breaks the tackle and is flipped up by Surtain. A gain of 11. The Chargers would decide to punt the ball away. They trust their defense to get the stop. We'll see if Denver can chew some clock effectively and try to get this number 1 seed for good. 3rd and 10, RPO. It's Marvin Mims. Who else? But it's only a gain of around 6. Bolts with the stop. Greg Newsome and friends bring him down. This could be the final chance here for the Chargers. 2-minute drill, 2nd and 8, trailing by 3. Field goal ties, touchdown takes the lead. Herbert and Harvey in the backfield for LA. Herbert looks to throw it. His pass is intercepted! Benjamin Morrison, the bringer of chaos, down at the 18. He could have scored, but we're looking to chew some clock and end this game for good. Morrison's 2nd interception of the year, and he might have just clinched the top seed for the Broncos. 3rd and goal at the 2. Henderson gets it, jukes his way in for a touchdown. We wouldn't have been better off taking more time away from the clock compared to scoring, so we'll take our extra points. 24-14, 4th and inches. Pierce breaks the tackle from Bossa, gets the first down, but look at the clock, and they don't have any timeouts. They're going to have enough time for maybe one more play here of 10 seconds as Herbert launches it away. So now it's 2nd and 10 with 7 seconds to go. Herbert under pressure. A fitting end! Our final play in the regular season is a sack for Jeffrey Bossa. Imagine if that play puts his stats over the edge to win the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, it should. He should win it. I'm just saying. 24-14 your final. The AFC playoffs runs through the Broncos. I think a big reason why we won the Super Bowl last year is that we did not play a playoff game on the road. All 3 of our AFC playoff games were at home. That'll be the case this year. Only 3.9 yards per pass. And the Chargers wasn't much better. Theirs was at 4. Both quarterbacks had very low average yards per attempt, and both QBs got sacked a lot, which likely contributes to the lack of yards per play. I thought Trey Henderson did pretty well in place of Jeanty. Shout out the big fella, of course, with his score. Neither passing game was really that impressive, but I don't think it was the fault of the quarterbacks or the receivers, except for Olave, who had 3 drops. Got to work that out. Not pretty from the offensive line for either side. 17 tackles for Colson, 12 for Bossa, very on brand for both. Mikel Williams and Pat Payton each had 4 TFLs and 2 sacks. Marley Cook also with 2 sacks, and Morrison, of course, with the clinching interception. 13-4, number 1 seed. The playoffs, at least in the AFC, will run through Denver. We're going to wrap things up here. It's been a really long episode. I figure, why not save our recap and talk about the end of the regular season across the league and preview our opponent in the next episode. Look at those numbers for Mims, though. My God. Never had 1,000 yards before this year. Not because of performance, but because of injuries. He had over 1,400 this year. He had to have finished in like the top 5 in receiving in the NFL. And then Bossa, 33 TFLs. Should be enough to win him the Defensive Player of the Year. And if not, then it's rigged. So that'll wrap things up. I know it was a long one, but I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Not just this episode, but this season as a whole, because all the episodes have been pretty long, covering 4, and then today, 5 games. Hope you guys enjoyed, though. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Broncos Country, Let's ride.